Hey, shalom, shalom. Hey, first and foremost, as always, I would like to start off giving all honor, glory, and praise and worship to our power, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH. Double honors to our apostles, our elders, great millstone, who will teach you on sound doctrine. Shalom, shalom to the hopeful elect, and rest of the large multitude of men, women, and children of the Lord have mercy on these last days. All right. These perilous times, meaning dangerous times. It's your brother HaqaDash representing GMS branch here in Cleveland. Lord willing, to bring out hopefully with the spirit and power Yahweh Shah, edifying lesson, a quick dream testimony. All right. As brothers know, through the spirit and power Yahweh Shah, you know, the spirit gave me a lot of dreams, as well as my rib, you know what I'm saying, my wife. And this particular testimony is regarding a vision that she or a dream that she had a couple of days ago or the other day. You know what I'm saying? I just did two dream testimonies, and it's kind of connected because I did the testimony on me seeing the word Nineveh, and you know, uh, brothers check that out. Dealing with the destruction of Babylon, the Lord blinded, not blinded, but made my vision go blurry, and all I can remember is Nineveh. You know, which connected a couple of days prior to that, which was the spirit literally woke me out of my sleep. Before it woke me out of my sleep, it gave me two chapters to go when it woke me up. It wanted me to wake up to do a lesson on two particular chapters. Again, the one chapter being Revelation 18, and the second chapter being second Ezra 13, not in any particular order. Um, well, I think it gave me Revelation 18 first and second Ezra 13, if I'm not mistaken. But my ribs dream, just long story short, she was with a friend, and she was out. She said she was with a friend, like probably like a business brunch or something, and like a business brunch, and out of nowhere the spirit hit her, I guess, and she told the friend she was with, she has to go, and the friend was kind of salty, so I guess the friend got up, uh, uh, the chick got up, she went to the bathroom, so my rib took her keys and just drove off. You know what I'm saying, because she knew she had to go. And long story short, what ended up happening was that she's speeding through traffic. Okay, and she said, like in the midst of traffic, uh, she can look up, and she said we stayed in this high rise. Like if you watch the Avengers, how Tony Stark high rise was. She said we were standing in this high rise. Okay, and she said she could see, it was so tall she could see our high rise from where she was driving when she left. She took the chick car, so she's driving, moving through the city, and as she's driving, she said when she could see our high rise, but then she said she could see what if you look at I wish I had a picture. I should have did this on my laptop, but it's cool. If you look at a clock, a older clock, they have a cranker, like a gear that turns in it, like them brown gears that turn in them old big clocks that stand up, and it turns right. She said she could see uh while she was driving a bunch of gears in the sky. Okay, and she's trying to maneuver through traffic, and while she's trying to maneuver through traffic, she get hit in traffic. Boom, car crash. She said everybody around her was trying to like in awe about what happened. She said she couldn't hear nothing. It was just like wong wong wong, right? So she said she all her job, her focus was just to get to the high rise, right? Get to her apartment. She was trying to get home. Remember, she said she saw uh gears in the sky. Okay, she said she saw gears coming down in the sky, and she also said that it was a big gear, a big gigantic gear that was coming in the sky, and it was moving real slow. It was coming in, and she said the big one was the only one that was moving. All the other gears that she saw was just in the sky sporadically. They weren't moving. They was standing right where they were at, and they had different oars on them. Each gear had an oar to them, and she said all the colors at the end of the day were all the colors of the rainbow. and each gear, which obviously we would assume to be chariots, and the gears being gears because of time, this kingdom being out of time. So the gears as she seen them, she said each gear had an aura around them. Remember, I said as the color of the rainbows. So remember, her goal is to get to her. She's trying to get home after the car crash. Long story short, she get to the apartment building or the townhouse complex, whatever it was. She said she go up the steps. She go up the next flight of steps. When she get to them steps, she said it was like destroyed or something, like the platform. So she had to like jump, like jump up to get to the apartment because she said we stayed at the very top, like a penthouse, and she said she had to jump to get to to the next flight of steps or whatever. And she said when she finally made it all the way to the top, she had to take the steps. When she finally made it to the top of the platform where our town where our penthouse was, she said it was a bunch of guys outside of our apartment door. She said it was like men in black guys, and she said it was right there. So she stopped. So she went back down. She was trying to go back down the flights that steps she just came back down, and she said somebody snatched her and pulled her inside of this apartment. Now, this is where it get interesting because when she got snatched into the apartment, she said she saw me in a cage. And she said I wasn't distraught, I wasn't stressed, I wasn't, hostile. I was calm, I was peaceful. She said she saw me in the cage, and she said, oh, it was nobody else in the room in this apartment but me in the cage and this lady that was dressed in all green. But she said she had like wings that touched the ground. The wings was green. The garment on her chest part was green. Her dress was green. It was like she said it was like it was just she was just dressed in nothing but green. And she said her hair was just blowing in the wind, like it was like wavy, but no wind was blowing. But her hair was just blowing in the wind. And she said she was a it's a dream too. So she said she was a cartoon character, like off Space Jam or something. But remember, she was dressed in green, right? And she said the lady was telling her that she was like, Maria kept asking, why is he in the cage? Why talk about me? Why am I like? She was like, why is he in the cage? How do I get him out? How to get him out? Get him out? And the lady was basically saying that she couldn't do nothing. Telling Maria, she was like, it's nothing you can do. She said, it's nothing you can do. She said Maria was like, she was confused because she was just trying to figure out how to get me out of the cage. And the lady just kept ignoring all the questions Maria was asking her. And she was like, well, but you're not telling me how to get him out the cage. She said, it's nothing you can do. She kept telling Maria, it's nothing you can do. And she was just ignoring every question that she was asking her. And she was just talking about other things. Now, Maria didn't give me the breakdown. She don't remember the exact conversation. Anywho, now as this going on, she said the lady that was dressed in all green, the hair was blowing. Remember, I'm locked in the cage. Remember, she got snatched into the apartment, and then she was asking how to free me, but the lady was ignoring her and was telling her there's nothing she can do. And what the lady did was, she said she remembered before I got released out of the cage, she said she remembered seeing in the back, it was like these robot suits. And she said it was like in the back. And she said the lady went up to the cage and put her hand up to the cage, and I walked out the cage like nothing was, like I was comfortable. I just walked out the cage. And then she said we put on these robot suits. When we put on the robot suits, it was like right. But when we got out the door, she said like it got fit to our bodies. And then next thing you know, we skip up the other flight of steps that she went down. We get to the platform. Remember, the men in black, the guys that was outside of our apartment, they were looking for me. They were knocking on the door, banging on the door, but they couldn't get inside the apartment. This is why. Remember, when she was driving before she had to crash, remember, she said she saw the gears, which would represent the chariots, coming out the sky, and they had the different rainbow colors around them. She said the same orb was around our apartment only. She said she could only see this. Nobody else knew what was going on. She said around our townhouse, it was a pink orb. Like, not matter of fact, I don't know if you can see it. You see this on my wall? It's purplish, pinkish color looking here, like this royalty looking color. She said that was around the door. She said that was around the door of our apartment. And she said from that and from the outside, like it was outside the building on the ground level, it was around our entire apartment. Okay, it surrounded our entire, just our penthouse at the top. It surrounded our apartment. Inside the building in the hallway, it surrounded the door. But she said inside of the apartment, it wasn't like everything was pink in the inside. It just surrounded us. Now watch this. So she said when we got to the platform, and the men in black were trying to get in my house, but they couldn't because it was being protected by that ore. She said when they saw us, we started to fight them. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Throwing blows, beat them down quick. She said it was real quick. And then we went inside the apartment. We only could get in. We went inside the apartment. When we went inside the apartment, she said it was like a nice plushed out penthouse. She said it was real beautiful. When we got to a certain part of the, like we had this glass, like boom, boom, it came to a cut, like a L of nothing but window, and it was water. And it's kind of like my old apartment. We stayed on the 16th floor. It was something like that. We stayed off of Lake Erie, all right, off of Lakeshore at the time in Cleveland, and it was just like that. But she said it was a little bit higher, and the water was a little bit to the side. So, and because I'm saying that because if you've been following the page, I've done lessons with that view before. So, anywho, the ore, remember, we can't see nothing inside the apartment. It's not pink. Only the pink surrounded the door frame and the outside of the entire apartment from the outside view. So inside the window, looking out the window, she said I went somewhere in the back and she was just staring out the window. Remember the oars that I said, the gears which represent the chariots, she said they was just sitting there. They weren't even moving. The only gear, aka chariot, that was moving was the bigger gear that was coming down out the sky real slow. And she said it was a gear that was attached to our apartment. Like she said it was in the wall. Like if this is the wall, like it was coming through the wall. Like if you know what I mean by the gear, I'm talking about the old father clocks. You know what I'm saying? Them that stand up. She said it was coming in the wall of our apartment like this, like almost like a ghost, like Casper or something, like coming through the wall. And it was just sitting in the wall like that. And she said she remembered looking out the window, seeing that inside the house, but also looking out the window and seeing remember I talked about them gears? She said she saw just nothing but a lot of thousands of gears, I'm gonna just say it like that, in the sky sporadically with rainbow colors representing the rainbow to each gear. And she said that's all she could remember seeing is just each gear just sporadically through the sky with these oars around them. Ours was pink and the ones in the sky was different colors. And remember seeing that fathership of gear come down now, which was mighty. Like if I got just a couple precepts I want to bring out, and I just want to give what I thought about it, because remember that lady that pulled her inside of the apartment before she saw those guys? I was locked in the cage, remember? But she said what made me think as I was analyzing it, that lady, obviously a woman is not an angel. So the lady represented wisdom. Another thing is because the woman had on all green. She said her wings was green, the dress was green, her whole outfit was green, and her hair was blowing. Meaning, because when you think about water, living water moves. It has a current to it, which makes it living water. Okay. If I take water, I always use an analogy. If I take water and dip it into that same water that's moving, and I set that cup on the sand, that water that's in the cup is now dead water. It has no current to it. It's not in motion no more. So the lady hair moving represented life, and being all green represented that wisdom, which when you go into YAHAWASHI, his garment was beryl, a greenish color. Okay. And that's what I was taking from it. And that woman, it was a woman because the scriptures refer to wisdom as a woman, or I should say a feminine spirit, because it's a nurturer. Wisdom feeds us. Wisdom guides us. It nurtures us. Okay, that's why the scripture talking about being as newborn babes. When we come into this thing, we are a baby. We are children again. We're learning everything over, and that wisdom is giving us the food and the meat and the milk that we need to properly grow. Because it starts with the milk. Okay. And the way we function now, it started with the breast milk. It started with the milk as when we were infants. Okay. So that's what I got from that lady. Me being locked in the cage was being at peace link, being locked at the cage, and that lady was the only one that could open the cage. All right, because remember she told my real it was nothing she could do. So that lady unlocked the cage with her finger, boom, and I walked out. I was in a cage, meaning what? I was in a cage. I was bound to wisdom. You see, I was a was it Paul? He said I'm a prisoner of hope. I was a prisoner to wisdom. Okay, I was a prisoner to the mindset of Yahawashi, man. Okay, that's why I was in the cage, and that's why I was at peace, because wisdom. I was locked up by wisdom, man, by the spirit and power of Yahawashi. The robot suits that I mentioned, that I got from it was when just being in a room of with wisdom, because that was another realm. She said the inside of the apartment was completely that realm, that zone. She said it was completely different from when we exited out of that apartment. So I just took it as the body, that suit, that was what we had to put on. So when we walked out of the apartment, it appeared differently in the eyes of men, because men don't see as the men of the Lord see, that have eyesight to see. The world are blinded, so it appeared a different way. It was more fitting, but when we was inside the apartment, it was completely different. You see, but the point is that we had to put on that covering to go out there into the other realm, which is the realm where the hallway was, which is another realm, like the realm we currently dwell in, if you have ears to hear, and to go fight the things that was trying to attack us, which the men in black, which is Esau, represents Esau, the wicked one, and the ones that's going to come for us. We got to have that armor of the Most High on to fight off, you know what I'm saying, to fight off the spirits that's going to come for us, man. And when she was talking about the ore around the door, we just got the class today. We had class, and I went into Exodus 12. Me and the brothers, we went into Exodus 12, and because we about to get ready for Passover. And the ore that was, she said it was around the door. We have to have the blood of Yahawashi. We have to have him in our mind, man. We have to have him. We have to make sure we have the covering in our mind. Yahawashi, a couple brothers, we went into some scriptures, Revelations 3, all right, and 20. He knocked at the door. All right, he want to sup with us, and many other scriptures are going into the temple. Our body's been the temple, etc., etc. Now it's more spiritual and about faith. It's about the mind having that mark of exemption, Ezekiel 9:4, that the why in our mind, meaning what? We have the image of the Lord, man. That's what. And when you go into that, we went into that word in Exodus 12 and 13. When you go into that word, which is pasak, all right, but it also, the root word of that word in that particular verse goes into pasak, but also which means to spare. So when you go into Ezekiel 9:4 and 5, he told the angel, do not spare the ones that didn't have the why in verse 5. So the Lord is going to spare us, meaning what? Pass over us. So we got to make sure that we're doing what the Lord require of us, so that we can what? Because remember, when the Passover, so if you didn't have that blood on your doorpost, the Lord wouldn't pass, the destroyer, as scriptures call it, wouldn't pass over you. So I looked at it as that, and then when we walked into the apartment, she saw the ore being this color right here of the apartment, which represents royalty in a sense. You got that purple that represents royalty, man. You know, and then that was the color of our apartment that was surrounding that ore, protected our apartment from the enemy getting in. The enemy could not get in to the apartment, man. They had no access. You see, it was beautiful, man. I'm just meditating on when she was telling me this not that long ago, and I'm just meditating on that. It's beautiful. And the gear was in the apartment, like it was coming through the wall, which is the chariot, which, bro, like, it's just beautiful, man. She saw the rainbow, the different chariot, which were the gears, like the clock gears. Remember, the clock representing time. Esau being out of time. The chariots is going to be the bring in that last destruction. The beams, and they're going to fight Yahawashi. Try to fight Yahawashi. You know, it's just beautiful to think about. And I'm gonna just close with a couple of scriptures, and that's that, man. I just want to get real quick. You know, Lord willing, I didn't miss any detail. She be saying sometimes I'll be missing details, but let me just get but I know I nailed it on the money because I'll be tuned in, man, with the spirit. You know, this is Proverbs real quick, just some quick ones. This is Proverbs 4 and 6. It says, "Forsake her not." Now I'm gonna start at 5. Get wisdom, get understanding. Context is wisdom. It says, "Forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee." Right, because when you go into the hyssop, which with a hyssop is like a leaf, like a it looked like a flower. It got little buds and all that, like flower buds, and it's like leaves. It's hyssop. They when during the Passover they dipped the hyssop in a basin with like the bowl, all right, and with the blood, and they wipe the doorpost, all right, mark the doorpost. They use it as a brush, okay. Well, remember when Yahawashi was crucified, what did the what did the Roman centurions do? What did the soldiers do? They also dipped vinegar with the hyssop and they put it into Yahawashi's mouth. Well, hyssop is a cleansing agent. Hyssop is medicine. Hyssop is a herb. Okay, so it's spiritual when King David was talking about in Psalms 51, cleanse me with hyssop. Hyssop acts as a herb, as a medicine. So it just said, neither decline from the words of my mouth. So the words that the prophets speak, you have to take heed to them, because the scriptures say you are clean through the word. And the mouth, in the mouth of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is the prophets. So you're clean through the words that the prophets speak, which will act as that hyssop. So the hyssop are the words that the prophets speak, which is now that's how we put the blood, if you will, on our minds. Which when you go into it, it talks about the upper post in Exodus 12. So that upper post of our body, the temples now is our mind, which is the upper part of the body. So we paint that blood, you know, through the spirit and power of Yahweh on our minds, and we have Yahweh Shah sup with us. So you know, it's very, very it's very beautiful how the Lord played all of this out, man. This is just I said, like I said, I'm gonna just get a quick one because we already kind of lengthy, but this is Wisdom Solomon, just real quick. It's Wisdom Solomon 9. And yeah, the last verse, Wisdom Solomon 9:18. Remember, we're dealing with wisdom. For so the ways of them which lived on the earth were reformed, and men were taught the things that are pleasing unto thee, and were saved through wisdom. You see, in that wisdom, remember when she got snatched into that, Maria got in a dream, when she got snatched into that room, remember, I was locked in the cage, but I was at peace. Wisdom Solomon 3. I was at peace, you know, and that only thing that freed me was the wisdom. That lady, the woman, remember, so she was in green. Also, Yahweh Shah wears a green garment. All right, because you remember, if I may get this, I kept mentioning Yahweh Shah because the scriptures say, 1 Corinthians 1:30. This is it says, talking about our Lord, but of him are ye in Hamashiach Yahweh Shah, who of the Most High is made unto us wisdom and righteousness and sanctification and redemption. So Yahweh Shah is that wisdom. You know, going into his garment, the lady in the dream wearing all green, which is, she was feminine, meaning she was the nurturer. She was that wisdom. She was living. Her hair was moving, and she freed me from the cage, meaning I was bound to wisdom. I'm a prisoner of wisdom. I'm a prisoner of hope. I'm a prisoner of Yahweh Shah Mashiach, man. Okay. Real quick, this is Sirach. I've been bringing this out the last couple 3 or 4 lessons, man. Sirach 34. Yeah. This is Sirach 34:9. It says, a man that have traveled knoweth many things, and he that have much experience will declare wisdom. Which when we walked out to the apartment, we were fighting those Edomites, the men in black, right? And but we beat them up so quick. I can't beat somebody up quick and fight somebody like that if I didn't have experience, if I didn't have some type of training, you know. And that's what it's going to take in that Jacob's trouble. In the times we're moving into wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, Isaiah 33:6 will be the stability of our times. We're going to have the spiritual experience. Right now, we're getting that spiritual experience. We're fighting every day with demons and spirits. We're learning how to pray, and you know, our faith is being built, et cetera, et cetera. So that time come, we will be at a Bruce Lee, the stuff around us, man. And this is what it's going into. Sirach 34:9. A man that have traveled knoweth many things, and he that have much experience will declare wisdom. He that have no experience knoweth little, but he that have traveled is full of prudence.
When I traveled, I saw many things, and I understood more than I can express. I was oft times in danger of death, yet I was delivered because of these things, wisdom. The spirit of those that fear the Lord shall live, for their hope is in him that saveth them. See, I was at peace when I was in the cage because wisdom had me. I'm a prisoner of wisdom. I wasn't in a cage because I was like being like on a captivity in terms of like Esau's captivity. I was captive to wisdom. I was at peace. When she opened it, I walked out. My rib said I walked out, and I was normal, man. You know, because she said I was in the cage. It's like I want, let me out. She's always like, what's up, man? You know, I was happy, man. She said, oh, the scripture say, it said, verse 12 again, I was oft times in danger of death. Yeah, I was delivered because of these things. The spirit of those that fear the Lord shall live, for their hope is in him that saveth them. Whoso fear the Lord shall not fear nor be afraid, nor for he is his hope, right? Our hope, we're prisoners of hope. Blessed is the soul of him that feareth the Lord, to whom doeth he look, who is his strength. That's the point. Verse 16, for the eyes of the Lord are upon them that love him. He is their mighty protection and strong stay, a defense from heat, because it got real, it got intense. Though they was trying to get in my apartment, they was looking for me. Protection and strong stay, a defense from heat, and a cover. Woo, that cover. Remember that the chariot was basically in our apartment. All right, it was connected to the apartment. It had that oar around the doorpost, and from the outside view, it had the oar around the entire apartment. Just my apartment from the penthouse. Okay, that's that protection from the heat. That heat representing Esau. All right, and also the ICBM missiles that's about to come, et cetera, right? That troublesome time, right? Being in that furnace, man. Like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the YAHWAH was a covering from the heat, literally, man. A covering from the sun at noon. Oh, that's another thing, because she said it was the scripture talk about just roughly paraphrasing that the day cometh. Damn, that's probably not the one I'm thinking about, but she said in the dream that the sun was setting. The sun was getting ready to set. Like she said, here's the horizon, and the sun was about right here, getting ready to go down upon the horizon, which is also spiritual. Also is in the scriptures, man. The sun is about to go down upon this man's kingdom, representing his wisdom, knowledge, and well, he don't got wisdom, representing what he calls wisdom in the earth. The sun is about to set on his kingdom, man. Okay. It says, meaning his knowledge, what he perceives to be knowledge, his satellites, his philosophies, his doctrines, the Lord is about to put out, man. It says, and a preservation from stumbling and a help from falling, man. Yeah, man. So let me just get two more and we close, man. I didn't want this to hit 30, but it's cool. This is Wisdom of Solomon, going back to Wisdom of Solomon 5. Well, going back to Wisdom of Solomon, this is chapter 5 and 16. It says, I'm gonna start at 15. But the righteous live forevermore. The reward also is with the Lord, and the care of them is with the Most High. Wisdom of Solomon 3, he have care for his elect. It says, therefore shall they receive a glorious kingdom and a beautiful crown from the Lord's hand, for with his right hand shall he cover them, and with his arm shall he protect them. Remember, wisdom, which was representing YAHWASHI, guided us, gave us our armor. So when we walked out the apartment that we were currently in, we were dwelling with wisdom. We walked out of the apartment to go, you know, we were protected with that armor. Bro, it's just so heavy. YAHWASHI being that right hand of the Father, man. He sit up at the right hand of Yahweh, man. And then when you go to the 10th chapter, real quick, we close with this. This is Wisdom of Solomon 10. I could not bring these precepts out, man. It's beautiful. This is Wisdom of Solomon 10. I'm gonna start at 5. It says, moreover, the nations in their wicked conspiracy being confounded, she found out the righteous. It's talking about wisdom. And preserved, you can start at the top, but I'm gonna just start at 5. And preserved him blameless unto the Most High, and kept him strong against his tender compassion towards his son. 6. When the ungodly perished, she delivered the righteous man. It's giving examples on how wisdom came through for those who are found in the graces and the good graces of YAHWASHI. Verse 6, when the ungodly perished, she delivered the righteous man who fled from the fire which fell down upon 5 cities. It's giving different accounts through the scriptures of what happened, how wisdom preserved these men. When you think about preserving, you preserve meat. or you preserve some food in the refrigerator, you preserve it for a later date. Okay, so that it's preserved, meaning you're saving it for a later time. The Lord is going to save his elect for a later date. They're not going to perish like the world, man. He's going to preserve them. Okay. It says 7, of whose wickedness even to this day the wasteland that smoketh is a testimony in plants bearing fruit that never come to ripeness, and the standing pillar of salt is a monument of an unbelieving soul. Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot's wife, all that, right? For regarding not wisdom, it showed you in her dream that wisdom is how we were protected, and wisdom is how I entered into my own apartment. You see, because the chariot, the ore of the chariot was protecting my apartment from a malicious soul from entering into it. Like it says, Wisdom Solomon 1. And then because we were abounding in wisdom, wisdom gave us that armor to go to defeat the enemy, and we entered into the apartment, man. It says, even to this, it says of verse 8, for regarding not wisdom, they gate not only this hurt, that they knew not the things which were good, but also left behind them to the world a memorial of their foolishness, so that in the things wherein they offended, they could not so much as be hid. You see, they weren't hid, they weren't protected. Okay, because Yahawashi said, woe to them that are offended in me. When you go into that word offended, it goes into a stumbling block. So woe unto the destruction, death unto those who Yahawashi is a stumbling block unto. Okay, and Yahawashi is a major stumbling block unto the unbelievers, man. Okay, they don't. You got guys talking about he didn't do miracles. You got guys talking about Yahawashi. Man, it's just bugged out. I don't even want to repeat the things these people say. Verse 9, but wisdom delivered from pain those that attend upon her. Woo, said wisdom delivered from pain those that attended upon her. When the righteous, I'm gonna just read the 12 and close out. When the righteous fled from his brother's wrath, she guided him in right paths. Psalms 119 and 105. Showed him the kingdom of heaven. It showed him the kingdom of the Most High, and gave him knowledge of holy things, made him rich in his travels, and multiplied the fruit of his labors. In the covetousness of such as oppressed him, she wisdom is a nurturing spirit. She stood by him and made him rich, like the dream. She defended him from his enemies. This is beautiful, man. And kept him safe from those that lay in wait. They were waiting at the door. They were waiting for me. They couldn't get in, but they stayed there waiting for me. Man, it's heavy. It says, she defended him from his enemies and kept him safe from those that lay in wait. And in a sore conflict, she gave him the victory. And we entered into the apartment. Beat them up and entered into the apartment, that he might know that godliness is stronger than all, man. And that's the point, man. That's the point, man. Wisdom is going to keep us, like Apostle Tahar say, the stability, man. Hey, wisdom is going to keep us stable in that time. And talk about in Job 5, right? Yeah, that's 5. I think 5 and 16, 5 and 17, that and 6 and 7 troubles, right? The Lord is the elect is not going to taste of that lake of fire, man. You know, even because we got to go through Jacob's trouble. Lord willing, we are part of the brothers here, a great millstone, and the sincere believers scattered to the four corners, man. Lord willing, you know, we make it to the end, and Ahba Rataza, YAHWASHI, Rataza, he have mercy on us, and we are that number, Lord willing, man. The hopeful elect, because it's about to get that bad, man. It's about to get that bad. Okay, it's about to get that bad. So, Lord willing, this dream testimony was edifying. Again, if you tuned in late, Baba Kashai through the Spirit, if it's on you, tune back into the beginning so you can hear what I was saying at the Spirit was giving at the beginning about the other 2 dream testimonies that the Spirit gave over the last week, to tie in to this, the one that my rib had. So, and just bring it all home, man. So, hey, man, Lord willing, is edifying. Again, I want to give all honor, glory, infinite praise, and worship to our power. Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH. Again, double honors to our apostles, elders of great millstone, who will teach you on sound doctrine. A strong shalom to the hopeful elect, and the rest of the large multitude of men and children. The Lord have mercy on, man. The water for everybody tuning in on this late night. Hey, just keep enduring, keep the faith. Blah 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 blah. Shalom.